Divorced after 16 years of marriage and single at 39, I share my mistakes and experiences to help your marriage, improve your dating life, and prepare you for life after divorce. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rude Advice Podcast. I just want everybody to know right now up front, this is an important episode. So you're going to have to listen to this episode from beginning to end. And I'm going to tell you why. This episode, this type of format is something that I've been wanting to do since this whole Rude Advice platform started. And the reason I'm doing it is to help everybody out there who's in the dating world, who is struggling to find a date, specifically men right now. You guys from ages 20 to 45, whatever, who are struggling with the dating world. I want you to sit down and listen to this conversation. Now, I already know the type of feedback, the type of comments that this video and this conversation is going to have. I'm going to hear a lot of you calling these women liars. I'm going to hear a lot of you calling me a simp. I'm going to hear all this nonsense, all this red pill rhetoric that has left you lonely and unable to find a date. I'm urging everybody to sit down and listen to this program and listen to these women. And where did I get these women? I want you to know that this is local women. I live in San Antonio in the South Texas area. And I noticed on Threads, I was getting a lot of local women on my feed. And I just came up with the idea a couple months back, like, why don't I just invite 4 to 3 women onto the podcast? They're all single, all ages. For this particular episode, I have one at 23, one at 28, one at 33. And just ask them, they're all single. Like, what's going on? What are men doing out there? What are men doing wrong? What are they doing wrong on apps? So again, to all the guys out there struggling, if you sincerely want to improve your dating life, this is the episode to listen to. Another reason why I specifically went with local women in San Antonio is because I want to show everybody who's watching this that not all women are like that Miami bullshit that you see on other podcasts. You know, those women that they bring on that are specifically only OF models, that are IG models, all that nonsense. No, these are just regular women. Okay. And I sincerely want you to listen to what they say. Take everything you learn from all these other podcasts, throw it out your fucking mind, and just listen to what these women are saying. They're authentic. It was a great conversation. And I truly believe if you listen and take notes, this will improve your dating life. At least it'll be the beginning of improving your dating life. I promise you that. And I also want to remind you all, if you need a one-on-one session for coaching, you can do so by clicking the Stan Store link in the show description down below. Just select the date and time. You get a full hour with me, and I'd be more than happy to coach you up and give you some great advice that's going to help you along your way for men and women, everybody, okay? I also want to let everybody know that I've created a divorce planning checklist. This checklist is the result of many people asking questions on what do I do. So again, if you're looking and considering getting a divorce, if you're planning on doing that and you don't know where to go, the checklist is available on my store, the same link down below in the show description. That'll help you go and ensure you ask all the right questions, okay? But for right now, we're talking dating. And again, enjoy this episode. There's going to be many more episodes with women locally in San Antonio. This is just episode 1, the pilot, okay? And I'm more than sure I'm going to have these women back on the program again based on your questions and what you say in the comments below. And without further ado, here's my conversation with Samantha, Kara, and Emily. Enjoy. Well, ladies, first and foremost, I want to thank every single one of you for answering the call. I put this, thread out. Is it a tweet? No, it's not a tweet. It's a thread on Threads asking local women from San Antonio to want to be on my podcast. Just speak about general questions. And I want to thank every single one of you for responding and just kind of introduce yourself. We can start with Samantha, your name, your age, and your relationship status.
Okay, so I am 28. My name is Samantha. I'm single. I've been single for about 4 years. Yeah, the dating pool is different right now. So
that's what I keep hearing, and that's what I want to talk about some more. And Emily, how about you?
My name is Emily. I am 33, and I was divorced about a year and a half ago. And I've been single for that duration. I was married for 11 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. So your story is very similar to mine. I was married 16 years and got divorced in 2016. So, okay. All right. We probably have a lot in common there. And Kara, how about you?
Yes, my name's Kara. I've been single for probably 5 or 6 months now. I'm currently talking to someone, but I guess, yeah, I'm still single.
The first question I want to ask all of you, and either one of you can start this off, but what are some common issues women nowadays are facing when you're trying to meet new people? What's better, social media, dating apps, meeting people in person? What do you prefer? I already see Samantha rolling her eyes.
I feel like it's kind of everywhere. For a while, I thought that dating apps were kind of maybe the way to go because you kind of got like a glimpse inside of their life, you know, like how old are they? Do they have kids? Where they live? Little things like that. But also being on the apps made me realize that a lot of people try to portray who they want to be and not who they actually are. So, I mean, they could sound amazing and it could be going great, but then you wake up a month later and it's like, who are you? You know what I mean? I prefer to meet someone organically in my head. We're at a grocery store and we just pick the same pineapple or something. I don't know. It sounds nice, but I don't know. I mean, that's just the idea. That's what I would like. I would like for it to be, in person, organic. Dating apps are just, I give up.
They're not for you?
No, personally. But I support.
Which ones did you try that you didn't have success in?
So I tried Hinge because I mean, Tinder was never the way to go. Tinder, I feel like everyone just kind of has like a view on Tinder as far as like if you're looking for something quicker, like a quick hookup. But I wanted something more serious, so I went on Hinge. But no, that definitely didn't go as good as it could have gone. So.
Okay. And Emily, how about you?
I'm definitely with Samantha on like the initial thought being that like, oh, I get to learn about this person a little bit before meeting them. But then, really quickly you realize after a few times of kind of getting to know someone online and then meeting them in person that people really curate themselves. And I mean, men are using, women probably too, but men are using like AI to write bios for them. Like, I want to portray myself as this. Now give me a bio for my dating app. And I mean, it's scary how different the person is in reality versus what you pick up on through their profile or through talking to them by texting or whatever.
Yeah.
So I would definitely love to meet someone in person, but it seems like, unless they're like delivering my pizza.
Okay.
I mean, I work all the time. I have children. Like, when is that going to happen? So.
And Kara, how about you?
Honestly, I haven't been on a dating app since 2019. I tried it, went on a couple dates, I had the whole talking, whatever. And it just felt super disingenuous. And I feel like nowadays with dating apps, there's this thing like the paradox of choice. Like the attention span with people is so short. Like, oh, she's prettier. I'll dump this girl and go with this other girl. Vice versa. It goes both ways with men. And it's just so disingenuous. And it's so like kind of, I feel like dehumanizing. That's a little dramatic.
I know what you mean, though, because it's just people are just JPEGs and text threads. There's really no interaction at first. So you can ghost people so easily because you really haven't had any experience with them. That's my say.
Yeah.
But I didn't mean to cut you off here, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's very true with Kara. Like, it feels very shallow. It feels very superficial.
And it makes everything just difficult, and it makes you not want to date. That's why I haven't been on a dating app in so long. And I'm at the point where I'm just like, if something's meant to be, it'll be, and it'll happen. Of course, you can't be like just cooped up in your house all the time. Like, I try to find ways to be outside, like join CrossFit, join jiu-jitsu, gardening, just going to parks, going outside. So you have those opportunities to have real life interactions. But I know that's difficult for people because I'm 23. I'm lucky that I have no kids to take care of. I have no family to provide for. So I have that extra time.
Nice.
But for divorcees who have children, oh my gosh, I can't imagine how difficult that could be to find someone to date.
Oh, it's a lot harder. It's way harder than that. And it's funny because I think all three of you said something that was pretty much the common denominator. There was people being disingenuous and not being themselves. People were using probably ChatGPT to write their bios, which probably I would, but just to correct the grammar. Just that's all it was, like spell check. I used to have my female friends, can you word proof this, please, to make sure it's good? Because I'm all about grammar. But so what are I think that's the most part, guys are being disingenuous, but what are some good examples of good apps or maybe good profiles that you've seen for the guys that are listening out there that you can give them tips for, like, hey, this worked, but it didn't work out with each other, but this was a good profile. What would you suggest?
I don't know if I can think of anything like that I would see straight off of a profile that I would be like, okay, he's a good guy, you know? However, I do feel like a lot of the conversation on dating apps does get a little hot and heavy really fast. And it's like, why are you being weird? I don't know you. Like, you know what I mean?
Like sex is brought up really fast, right?
And or like, you know, just little weird things, or you know when someone's kind of like trying to play with you to get something out of you, to be like, oh, haha, and it's like, oh, well, even as not as innocent, but like, oh, like your bra size, like why are you being weird? Like, why do you know my favorite color? Do you know my middle name? Why do you need to know my bra size? Like, that's kind of weird right now. I mean, there's a tip for the guys out there, like, please don't weird. Like, just don't just go in there, be nice, be genuine. I mean, mind you, I don't want to get asked, what are you doing all day long either. But I mean, there's so much to talk about. Like, we can talk about anything. And I just feel like that's something that guys should kind of be open to as well. And, you know, not every girl is going to jump if you come on sexually like that. Like, it's really not attractive. So.
Yeah. And go ahead.
I'm the type of person where I hate texting because it's so like, what are you doing? Good. How are you doing? Okay. I'll just go straight to, just give me a call. Just, let's talk on the phone, see if we have chemistry.
Yeah. No, yeah.
For being 23, you're very old school. I applaud you for that. That's awesome. You got an old soul. I love that.
Yeah.
How do they react when you say call them? Like, oh, do they freak out?
If it's the right person, no.
Okay.
Amen. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
If a man is scared to talk on the phone, okay, we cannot be in a relationship. That's weird. Like, have some confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then you roll out the possibility of them using AI to script their conversation. So, like, they have to respond like themselves, you know, they cannot.
So Emily, you're saying that not even, I mean, they're using AI to use their bio, to create their bio, but they're also using AI to come up with conversation pieces or respond?
That is definitely a theory, but I mean, they at least can, take time to really think through a response and really, like, you know, what is she looking for here? What kind of answer should I give? Versus, like, in a conversation on the phone, you cannot sit there for 5 minutes and think about how you want to respond.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I feel like she hit a good point because, like you said, like, these guys, they're trying to decide what they want us to hear. Like, what's a good answer? What is something that, you know, would initiate more conversation with her? Okay, but if we're on the phone and I tell you this, then you really don't have a good, like, 4 seconds, bud. And otherwise I'll be like, okay, are you there? Hello? No? Okay. So, yeah.
So what's an impressive way to start a conversation on a dating app? And again, they're not doing the sexual thing. We're telling them not to do that. But what's a good way to have a genuine conversation? What would you like to hear?
Bring up something that indicates that you read my bio and that there's something about it that resonates with you.
Okay.
So that was the best response I got, was that someone actually, like, read it and gave a detailed, like, hey, you play volleyball. I also play volleyball. Where do you play? Blah, blah, blah. Like, something that's, you know, I can tell that this man actually read something instead of looking at a picture and deciding from there.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't just your pretty face. Like, he actually read your profile. Yeah, agreed.
Right.
Okay. Would you all agree that pictures matter? Or probably the most important part of the profile?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the guys I coach, I used to do audits on their profile. I'll go, not getting any hits, send it over to me. I'm like, dude, these pictures are like 6 years old and they're all in your car with a hat on and glasses. Come on, brother. Come on. Let's get some quality here, man. Come on. Let's get some
dirty clothes in the background. Like,
yeah.
Now I'm like,
for a picture. No, Carrie, your room is clean. Your room is good.
No,
your bed. It's great.
I shoved them under the bed.
Okay, but that's out of the camera view, so at least
Yes,
you're
exactly.
about
She
it.
put in the effort.
Yeah.
She at least put in the effort. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing I learned really quick because, again, I got married in 99 and got divorced in 2016, and dating apps were new to me. And I'm like, oh, okay. But for me, coming into this new space, because back in the old days in the 90s, I'm going to go on an old rant here. To meet women, you had to look good, you had to have game, you had to smell good, you had to be charismatic and go up and approach them to at least get a number. And I don't know, when I came in to the dating world in 2016, I'm like, this is too easy. I just create pictures, an app, and a profile. And there it is. I mean, there's hardly any work. So I think that kind of contributes to a lot of people being maybe a little lazy, especially when meeting somebody, because they really didn't put a lot of effort into it. You just created a profile. That's all you did. And I think that's a big part of the disconnection with men and women there on that piece.
Yeah.
So dating apps, again, what I'm hearing from all three of you are not for you. And you would love to have men approach you organically. Now, I hear from a lot of young men, and I don't know where they got this from. They think that it's the most terrifying experience to go up to a woman because many of you are going to yell sexual harassment and call the police. So a lot of them are just terrified. So please, let's put that myth to bed. But how would you prefer, what advice would you tell young men or men in general, how to approach a woman?
I think honestly, the most respectful way, just excuse me. And whether it's, whatever we're doing, I feel like it also depends on the situation. If you're at the park, if you're at a grocery store,
yes.
If, I feel like you can spark up conversation in that way. But just like that, just being casual about it. Like, oh, excuse me, da da da. And it's just like that. And it's, I've even at the gym, I've had my little gym crushes. And we just kind of look at each other and it's like, I feel like me looking at you is kind of me letting you know, I'm single. That's why I'm looking at you. If I wasn't single, I would not be giving you the time of day or looking at you. If you're looking at me, then I would hope that you're single too. So if we're two single people and we both think each other are pretty, let's make this happen. But I think that, just in a respectful tone, it's refreshing to us because I think that we do, even if we don't have dating apps, we have social media, we have Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever, Facebook. We get messages from men there as well. But if we're looking for something organic, then just a respectful approach, I feel like would be the easiest and best way that could definitely start something off, something organic and pure, healthy.
Okay. Kara, Emily?
I feel like nowadays men really lack initiative in real life, big time.
Okay.
I feel like it's very rare nowadays for a man to come up to you and ask you on a date. They'd rather ask for your Instagram and then ask you on Instagram or ask you on Snapchat. That's their kind of strategy nowadays. And not just be upfront and be like, hey, I think you're a beautiful girl, very in a respectful manner. Would you want to go out for coffee or something sometime? I don't think I've ever gotten that. Maybe once or twice. But it's usually ask for the Instagram and then I'll DM you and text you for however long.
That's like when you were a kid and you asked your friend to give this girl a letter or something, just, do you want to go out? Yes or no? I don't know. I can understand that. And I wonder why that is, that a lot of guys prefer to not ask in front of you, ask you in person. I wonder why that is. Why do you think that is, Kara?
I think it's because, there's a lot of, there is stigma around, there was the Me Too movement with that whole thing. I feel like that kind of has struck in some fear into men nowadays because they witnessed that. And they're like, oh, shoot, I don't want to. Or they're getting filmed. They see videos all the time of men coming up to women, trying to ask them out. And then they get embarrassed because the woman makes a video out of it. And it's like, haha, look at this guy trying to ask me out, blah, blah, blah. At the gym and stuff. I don't know if y'all have seen those videos.
Oh, yeah. They always send them to me.
And then men get scared. And they're like, oh, my gosh, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, that's what happens when you live life through your phone. I mean, that hardly ever happens. I mean, that's one in a million practically. And they think what they see on their phone is the reality of approaching a woman, and they kind of paint a lot of women in this certain stigma without. So they're kind of putting this this reputation on a woman without even talking to the individual. And I always tell them that, you know, just because of what you see on social media does not mean that that's going to be the person that you meet. So I agree with that. I think social media and viral videos have influenced them in the wrong way.
Oh yeah.
I think women are a lot nicer than
You think
men
so?
think. Yeah.
Okay.
At least in my head. Like, I've never met a girl that would be rude whenever she's rejecting a guy. If anything, we feel bad for
Right.
rejecting them.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I've never, like, it's always this awkward, like, sorry, but, you know, I'm not interested. You know, it's never like, oh, I want to make fun of you or like make a mockery of you. I wouldn't be friends with somebody like that, and I certainly wouldn't treat someone
I
like
actually
that.
cut off a friendship
Yeah.
because of that exact reason. Like, I didn't like the way that she kind of like reacted to things like that, and especially like with men, it's almost like it would like feed her ego, and she would like them to be, you know, like approaching her, but she also got almost like a rise out of kind of like laughing at, like, oh, like,
Rejected.
wait, you really thought I was gonna give you the time of day, and it's just so ugly, and it's like, you know, but
That's
unfortunately
cool.
there are women out there like that. Like, I know that. I've also seen videos of women on social media making fun of men doing that, and no, I wouldn't be a friend with someone like that. But it is unfortunate that there are women out there. There are women that are not the greatest, you know. But same thing with men. There are some men out there that are just not great either. But that doesn't mean that we have to think that all men are not good people either. Like, I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that all men are the same. I hate that phrase.
I love that.
No, there's no way. No.
Yeah. And I love that you think that way, because I feel a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
Because on TikTok, I get it all the time. Women ain't shit. Men ain't shit. And I'm like, I get it. We've all had that one person that was pretty toxic in our life. But you can't, just because somebody hurts you doesn't mean everybody will.
Right.
And I wish more people thought that way. But unfortunately, it's like one or two heartbreaks and I'm done. I'm giving up on women. Women ain't shit. Western women ain't shit. I'm going to get a passport. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Dude.
Not a passport,
Yeah.
bro.
You're 21. You're 21, man. Come on.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
The Polish ladies are going to be annoyed with you too. Okay?
And I don't want to.
They're going to have standards as well. And but yes, generally, I think it's just a lack of, like, that mindset shows usually a victim mentality.
Yeah.
Like, they do everything right, but the opposite sex, the entire bunch of them is just wrong. You know, they're the ones who are messed up, which is not great. Like, you know, the victim mentality is really defeating. So.
Yeah. And I tell them that. And a lot of men that I've been coaching since 2020, and a lot of them sometimes cancel sessions with me because after one, they don't like what I'm telling them, because I tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And rejection's part of the game. I mean, that's just the way it was. And no problem. You don't have to be rude to them. Okay, no problem. Good night. You know, I wish you a wonderful day. That's it. You don't have to call them a lesbian or slut. I mean, for example, have you rejected a guy and has he responded in a mean way to you?
Yeah.
Like, what have you heard? Just for the record.
I have heard that I was low value, and
God.
I was lucky to be to even be talking to him, because, like, you know, I'm a single mom and I have, you know, nothing going for me. So that, for me, honestly, I'm at a point in my healing where I was just like, wow, the fragile masculinity is real. Like, it didn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
It just showed me a lot about him. But yes, definitely. Yeah.
So a year ago.
Like,
go ahead. No.
Just to that, it's just like, okay, so I'm low value, but I'm rejecting you. So what does that make you?
Good point. I love that.
Yeah.
No, but a year ago I met a guy on a Christian dating app, right? I was thinking like Christian, like, you know, like we're gonna bring religion into this. This would be, you know, whatever. Anyways, I was working 2 jobs at the time. I wasn't on my phone constantly. This man that I had met, and we had a 15-minute conversation on the phone, and it seemed okay. He texted me. I didn't reply within 2 minutes, and he then proceeds to tell me that I am gonna grow old and no one is going to want me because I think I'm going to be young and hot forever. And I need to settle down with a real grown man, and that no one's going to want a slut once I get to 35. And
Wow.
2 minutes. 2 minutes, dude. Like, I'm working. I'm so sorry. Like,
What are they
I don't
watching?
know.
They're watching all these red pill idiot shows where they blame women for everything, and they're the guys that call me simp in my shows and my comments because I'm saying treat people with respect.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
That was just
Idiocy.
block. That was block. I had nothing to say though, cause like what? I talked to my mom and I was like, and she's like, my mom was like, I feel so bad for you. She's like, y'all's like, she's dating. Like, she's like, I'm sorry, I'm married, I'm happy. Like, I'm so sorry that this is what it is.
This is why I hate dating.
Yeah.
I hate it.
And everything, Emily, you said that they responded with, and Samantha, you said those are all bullet points from what they hear on these shows, which means they've never had an original thought in their damn lives. And I can't stand that. And I just wish more guys thought for themselves and understood that rejection is part of the game. And there's just this anger.
I get rejected, like,
Yeah.
do they not? I mean, women get rejected, and we, like, I mean, not we. I won't speak for my entire, the entire gender or sex, but I have been rejected, and then I accept that, like, that person's not for me. That's your cue that match is not there,
Right.
and you accept that, and it's usually in your best interest.
Yeah.
Rejection is, what is the quote? Rejection is protection. Oh, yes. Rejection is protection.
I've never heard
that
That's
either.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down.
Like
I'm gonna make that a
my
meme.
notes.
That's really good.
I like it.
I feel like nowadays there's a lot of each sex blaming the other for dating being so hard nowadays. There's a lot of that, and it's really a dynamic that's ruining relationships, because then we bring that dynamic into relationships where we're just like butting heads. We're not working as a team. It's your fault. Oh,
I love that.
What did you do? I did not do that. Wow.
With the
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think maybe you said shh or something.
That wasn't me.
But we're coming into relationships with this mindset of like we're going to war. Like, oh, it's your fault because you took the red pill. Oh no, it's your fault because you're, I don't know, whatever it is.
Being right. Like, being right. We have to be right.
That's,
and, know that the person's wrong.
It's not in a relationship. I don't feel like it's supposed to be me versus you. It's supposed to be me and you versus the problem versus whatever we're supposed, you know what I mean? Like, whether it's something I'm doing, maybe I post too much on social media and you don't like it. Okay, I can respect that, and for whatever reason, if it makes you feel away, cool. Then my post will be shorter. I won't post as many stories, whatever the case may be. But like, it's not. It shouldn't be me being like, oh, so you're insecure, so you don't like. You know what I mean? It should not be me attacking you just because you're being vulnerable with me. Because then,
be respectful.
Yeah, he's not gonna want to be vulnerable with me again, and that's not gonna be a relationship that we're gonna be able to have open communication and it's gonna be healthy, basically. So I feel like compromise is very important whenever it comes to things like that. So
100%. Yeah, you said the same thing I did. 100%. But again, from an outside looking in, like I said, when I started dating in 2016, again for the first time in my adult life at 39, I didn't have that anger, but I noticed a lot of guys were. That was like starting, and a lot of these guys were just saying all these horrible things. Like, where are you getting this from? And it's sad that I think you're right. There is a lot of anger with men out there. And I think it stems from just a lack of life experience, especially them learning about women through their phones instead of actually engaging with real life flesh and blood women in the world. They just make assumptions based on what they see on social media. And I see it in my coaching sessions and I see it in my comments. They think they have it all figured out at 21 based on what they've seen. And they're listening to the wrong advice from the wrong podcast. And that's why their dating life is not improving, because they think women are emotional creatures, anybody who says low value or high value, it just triggers me and I just block them. I'm like, shut up, dude. Who came up with that phrase?
Yeah, definitely not an original thought.
No, it's not at all. But let me ask you this: as far as the culture in the dating space right now, what do you think? Where do you think it stands right now as far as culture? Do you think is it still hookup, or are people out there still trying to find a strong, lasting relationship?
I think
anybody can go.
I think it's more hookup, honestly. I think a lot more people, and just because of, I feel like social media, dating apps, like when things go wrong in a relationship, you have all these options, or so you think you do, at the tip of your fingers. You know what I mean? You can swipe up and then start a conversation and meet someone new in your city that has no idea anything about you. The fact that, you know, if you're dating someone, if you're talking, however, whatever the case may be, yeah, I think it's all hookup right now. I think that everybody just wants the next thing, because when things get hard, everybody is programmed to run and to not stay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but then again, you have to think about it too, because there's people on social media telling you, oh, if he, you know, doesn't do this, if he doesn't like the way you do this, break up, leave him. No, let's talk. Let's
Right.
work. You know, it's not all just running away. But whatever.
There's definitely, I feel like people are waking up to the fact that hooking up is not it.
Yeah.
Like it was worse back in like 2019, 2020, whatever. And people are starting to kind of swing the other way and want more commitment, but it's still not at the point it needs to be. There's still a huge lack of commitment in dating, because there's that paradox of choice. There's that, oh, if I see a prettier girl in 0.5 seconds, I'll just drop you and then go for the prettier girl, whenever there's not a genuine connection, and it goes vice versa. There is a huge lack of commitment in dating nowadays.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Emily?
Yeah, I have very little experience, but I have had some, and it definitely, for me, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if the goal is a hookup and I'm just not meeting that. But I've unfortunately had the experience of like having these really great dates with men that I find like super interesting and awesome, and who seem to, you know, think the same about me, and then they're gone like within the next couple of days. Like,
Really?
you know, yeah, like canceling the next date. You know, I have to work, blah blah blah. Not being responsive. It's very. I have no. Believe me, I've been like, what is it about me? What am I doing?
Yeah.
And it's so I don't know if that's the thing, is that everybody has this like silent agreement that, hey, like we're gonna hook up, right? And then I just like fail to meet that. But I guess, I mean, it's definitely not. It doesn't seem like it's meant for people looking for long-term relationships.
Yeah. I knew a lot of guys back in the day when I was dating and all that. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because usually guys, if they ghost you, not all guys, but the ones that are toxic, if they ghost you, it's usually they just slept with you and they got what they wanted and took off. Or you rejected them and they say, okay, I'm gonna have to put effort into this. I'm not going to put effort. It's been more than 2 weeks. I'm out. So it's funny, like the paradox of choice, as you mentioned. And that's one thing, just from a guy's perspective. Again, I hadn't dated since 99. I'm out there in 2016 to get on a dating app. And I found that the hookup culture was just rampant, and that women, and the women that I met, were incredibly sexually aggressive. And I'm like, really? I just picked you up. You want to do what? Like, we're going to the movie? Like, really now? Like, okay, sure. Why not? It was just insanely aggressive. And I blew my mind, because again, I'm just referencing the 90s. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. I mean, one night stands did occur every now and then, but it was just so damn common now. Like, wow. But
You have to put in a lot more effort as a man back in the day, I feel like, to get that kind of attention.
And the only effort I put in was picking them up. That's it. I mean, it was really crazy how just...
What is going on?
I don't know. I mean, again, I wasn't complaining at the time, but I was just in shock. I was like, wow, I can't believe this is the culture nowadays. It was insane.
I've heard that from other men. Like, I went on a date with a man a couple months ago, and I asked him, he asked me on a date, and I suggested a coffee shop, like 10 a.m. on a Sunday. And he mentioned during the date, he was like, you're the first girl that's asked me, like, to do a coffee date at 10 a.m. on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And he went on to say, like, yeah, usually, like, first date, I have girls that are asking if they can come home with me. And I was like, not going to be a problem for me. It's just, I was shocked by that. But hearing it from you, too, and, I mean, it sounds like it's definitely a thing. Because I think I meet women all the time that I'm just like, no, this isn't what we're doing, right? We're not.
Oh, you are. Some of you, not all. Oh, definitely.
We're doing that?
Oh, yes. Like, good morning. I'm like, hey, good morning. And it's a booty pic. I'm like, whoa, I didn't ask for it. I'm like, okay, good morning. I can't wait to see you tonight. But
and there's absolutely nothing wrong with like having sexual drive. Like we're all good with that. It's just, that's not my goal here. It's we can, especially, I feel like, especially women, we can have sex whenever we want to,
Absolutely.
so it's a little bit more than that. We're looking for more than that.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yes,
I
yes,
think
yes.
both I think both sexes like add fuel to the fire with that, because if you have a man and that happens to him one time, like, oh, this woman gets in my car and I can just have sex. Oh, this is great. I'm going to keep doing this until I get another woman to come and have sex with me. And that's why I ask for her bra size in the first 3 words I say to her, because I want to have sex with her and this is so easy for me now.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like men are a lot more driven by sex.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, okay, I have this Hinge on my phone where I can just have sex. This is great.
Yeah. And to be clear, this is 2016. The Me Too movement was starting. I was scared to death. So I let women, you took the reins, whatever you wanted to do, it was your thing. So I didn't bring up sex. I was just, let's have a conversation. And usually they were the ones to bring it up. Like, send me a pic. I'm like, I'm never going to send you that type of pic. No. What is that anyway? I learned about dick pics in 2016. I'm like, what, guys send that? Why the fuck would you do that? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So that blew my mind because, again, totally naive, coming out into the dating world. So a lot of things
You're
shocked
like, I
me.
have 1999 dating knowledge. What is this?
They're sending pictures of our dicks now.
What's your AOL? Like,
From what angle? Like, what angle do you want this
I know.
from?
And I love like a graphic design, like what angle, what filter, using black and white. What are you doing? Like, it's disgusting.
Put a filter on there.
Yeah, no matter what angle you take it from, it's disgusting. So I've never sent one, but I got asked that repeatedly. But again, it was just shocking how. And again, I think women have told me this all the time, and I never understood the I guess the magnitude of this compliment. Was they said, Rudy, you make me feel safe, and I'm like, what the hell do you mean? Like, what does that mean? And she goes, well, you're honest. Because again, I was a horrible husband. I've learned from my mistakes. The ex-wife and I get along great, right? But I promise not to lie again. So when I went out there, I told every woman up front, look, I just got divorced. I just want to have fun. So I don't want to lead you on. And this is what I'm offering. So if you're looking for something serious, that's not me. I just want to be totally upfront with you, not waste your time. But if you just want to have fun and do whatever, I'm that guy. And a lot of women respected that I was honest with them. And they respected that I spoke well of my ex-wife. They respected that I was an involved dad. And all that made them, and just not putting any pressure on them. Like, I didn't go on dates thinking this is going to be the next wife or a major girlfriend. I just let the evening play out as it was. And I just made y'all laugh and gave y'all tacos. And that's all I did. And that's all I did. But again, a lot of women told me that made them feel safe. And that really shocked me, I guess, how infrequently that happens. And
that is such a big compliment.
Yeah. And for the people who are listening, tell them what that means. I mean, be different for every woman, but tell them.
I literally put that in my notes whenever you sent the questions, and I took some notes about my thoughts of like, what do you want in a man? As women, we want to feel safe. And I feel like we never get that nowadays because we don't have men that are leaders, that are responsible, mature, and that can be givers, providers, and make us feel safe in that safe space. It's always, from my experience, from my dating experience in a relationship with people my age, it was always, oh, can you pay the rent? Can you pay for groceries? Can you help me with my dental stuff? Can you, dating people my age? One guy asked me to pay for his school. Like, it's, how am I gonna feel safe in that?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I feel like there's a lot of that nowadays. Not to that extent, but just not being a man.
For me, during a date or meeting someone, I've actually only had that experience with one man where I was like, where I had to think about like, why does this feel so good? And I was like, I feel safe. And it's because he came across as extremely genuine. Like, I could tell he was telling the truth. There was just like, he was just himself, authentic and genuine. And that feels like safety to me. I guess that's I haven't really thought too much about that, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
But authenticity is safety for me, I guess.
Wow. And
No,
Samantha?
agreed. I mean, feeling safe is definitely not what you feel with everybody, especially every man. Um, if anything, too, when I feel safe with you, I feel like I don't have to have any guards up. I don't have to try to protect myself, or almost in a way, like I don't feel like I have to have like a masculine energy where I'm kind of like on edge, like I can be myself. I can be soft. I can be like the actual sweet girl that I am, like I don't have to act a certain way because you're kind of acting funny with me sometimes. But if you make,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt safe twice. There's only been two people that have ever made me feel safe. Um,
Wow.
and it it's that feeling that I don't ever want to let go. Like, it was really hard breaking up in those situations, but I did know that ultimately I needed something more than safety, like a little more, obviously. But that was something that I will always look for. I will always look, to feel that feeling of safety and secure with you. I need that security, like that. It just means a lot to me, and I know that we can go far if I have that. I will do
Yeah.
anything for you if you give me that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's like Maslow's hierarchy, the very bottom, the basic structure of anything is like
Yeah.
safety,
Yeah.
security.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, yeah, it's not something that's present with everyone. And that's probably, by design, because we're not meant for everyone.
Yeah. And I want to be clear, when you say safety and security, it's not like you're muscular and big and
No.
you can beat up any guy in the room, right? Or
No.
you have lots of money.
No,
It's nothing like that, right?
No.
So I know guys are going to rebuttal on that piece. So
No.
no, not at all. For me, it's not that at all. Like I said, it's more about them being authentic in a way that I can, perceive that, and then also being able to be authentic with
Right.
them. And I think what Samantha's referring to, like with, letting her masculine energy down, is like, not in a physical
Right.
sense, but
yeah.
mentally, when we're single, we develop that like hardened kind of colder persona because we have learned that we have
Mm-hmm.
to be independent and self-sufficient, which is a necessity as a single individual of
Anybody.
any.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's something that it's nice to be able to let go of whenever you're in the presence of a man that feels safe, like psychologically, mentally, emotionally
Correct.
safe.
I think it speaks wonders that all of you have said those experiences have been very few. You said one, and Samantha, I think you said
Two.
two. Wow.
Yeah.
That's mind blowing, man. That blows my mind. Wow. Somebody mentioned social media earlier. Is social media a big thing for women? Like, if you're dating a guy, do you have to have password access to his account and see who he's
No.
following?
No.
Talk to me about social media. Is that like a deal breaker?
No. The way I see it
No.
is, if you whatever you wanted to do, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you what to do, what not to do, who to follow, who not to follow, what to like, what not to like, because you're a grown
Yeah.
man. You're gonna do whatever you want to do. If we were to break up
Mm-hmm.
one day and then you went like, and I told you, don't do this, don't do that, how silly am I gonna look if you go and then you do everything that I told you not to do? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have to tell you what to do. I want you to have enough respect for me to not want to do that, to not want to make me feel a way about anything or whatever. I don't really care about likes and follows, though. I genuinely don't. There's people that like my stuff and follow me, and I would never talk to them. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't
Yeah.
stress that. But I think that social media, like, it does play a role, but not in the sense of that part. Like, I don't need your passport. I mean, your password. I also don't need like location or anything like that. I give you full
Mm-hmm.
reign. Like, you are my partner. I hope that you're playing the role correctly because I'm playing the role correctly. So I hope that we make each other look better. But that's where you have to have faith in the person that you're with, and ultimately that's
Yeah.
what it is. Is just having faith. So
That is, yeah, like I can't agree more with that. Like I feel like this, needing to know passwords and, controlling people's, you're trying to control the narrative of your relationship in a way that it's no longer genuine or authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't allow people to make the decisions that they're going to make, I mean, so So you're preventing them from cheating by having the password and by checking everything.
Yeah.
But they would otherwise. Like, that's not great, you know. I feel like I want people to do what they want to do, and just the end. Period. I want people to do what they want to do, and hopefully, the person that I'm choosing wants to be with me singularly. And if not, then move on.
Kara, anything?
How I utilize social media and dating, I guess, if I start talking to a guy and I have some interest in him, I will go through his followers real quick, do a little scan, and make sure, because if the guy has a lot of like pornographic stuff that he follows, like all these girls, it's just like kind of porn starish, I guess you could call them. If there's a lot of that, then I wouldn't even talk to the guy. I would just honestly stop talking to him, because then I know, like, I don't know, I just don't want to be around someone like that who uses social media like that. I don't want to have to be like, okay, you can date me, but you have to unfollow all these girls now.
Right.
Off the rip, I'm just going to be like, this guy is not wanting a long-term relationship. Maybe he does, but just not with me. I can't do it. But passwords, locations, I don't need that. I think trust should be given off rip. Like, when you first start dating someone, trust should already be there. And only taken away if trust is broken.
Good point. Yeah. Like, I trust you until you give me a reason not to.
Right.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
I got to tell a story real quick. I remember going on a date with this woman, and she goes, we sit down, we're at the bar. She goes, I got to hand it to you. I got to give you the biggest compliment. I go, okay, what? Tell me what. She goes, you are the first guy I've ever went out with whom I looked through your followers on IG to see if you're dating it, looking at one of these booty holes, and all you follow is comic book movies and movie channels. There's not one IG model there, so I got to compliment you on that. I'm like, is that a thing? Do women actually go and look through who you're following to see what kind of guy you are? She's like, yeah, we do it all the time. We look at your photos, we look who you check in with, you look at your locations, we look at everything. We're like the FBI. And truth be told, check this out.
She's exposing her secrets.
Oh yeah. I know a lot about y'all. Like, I trust me, I know a lot. Half my followers are women. Come on. But I also learned, get this, a woman, we're talking, and she came to the house, we hooked up, whatever. And she goes, I knew you were a nice guy. I mean, we were talking about, I knew you're nice. I'm like, why? She goes, well, I looked on your Facebook and there's a photo of you next to your car. I had my friend run your license plates and looked and checked to see if you had a criminal record, and you're clean. And I knew you were great. I'm like, wow, you women are like Batman when it comes to the social media.
Before.
Huh?
I want to be her friend.
We get traumatized.
I get it. For safety reasons, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But it blew my mind. I'm like, wow, I didn't even think about that.
We learn, like, we have these experiences that teach us, like, okay, if I had gone through the following list, maybe I would have noticed some red flags, or, maybe if I had done a background check, I would have seen that this is a problem, or, like, we have these experiences that teach us to carry some tricks into the new, not tricks, but, some habits into our next choice.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So when you meet guys, have you had some guys ask for your passwords or want access to it, or maybe ask you to, hey, you need to delete this if you want to date me? Have you had that?
Or like ask you on the spot, like, let me see your messages.
Yeah.
Which I don't have anything like, if I'm, like I said, if I'm in a relationship, then yeah, like I'll ignore, whatever. So it's kind of like, okay, cool. I showed you mine. Like, are you willing to show me yours? Like, would you do that? I don't want to ask, because the only time I have asked once, and I broke my heart, and I will not ask again. That's where I say, like, faith kind of has to, play in. I don't ignore red flags anymore, because I used to be like, oh, like, but it's okay, like, he does this, but I can, maybe there's a reason, maybe there's this, or give them the benefit of the doubt. But unfortunately, not everybody deserves the benefit of the doubt. You do have to understand that not everybody is a great person. So sometimes you do have to cut ties, and, it is what it is, but you're also saving yourself a lot, and you just don't even know it. So who knows?
I've learned that I have to listen to intuition on the note of like, the red flags.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't know if this is like a deal breaker, but it just feels like not
Yep.
good.
Feels
Yep.
off.
Super.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that is one thing that Rudy, I was married since I was 20. So I didn't ever date. I was married from 20 to 31. I never dated. I met my husband when I was 16. So it's all very, very new. And like learning like what is intuition when it comes to dating? Like, what I had to spend time, figuring out what I wanted in a person. Or what I didn't want, the absolute no's, the deal breakers. But intuition can be tricky because it's like I'm very, very logical. And I'm like, well, he checks the boxes, he checks the boxes. And very pragmatic and sometimes to a fault when it comes to relationships. But I've had to start listening to the intuition of like, this just doesn't feel right. Like you've got all the boxes checked. We look great on paper, but I don't know. And that's hard for me because I have to listen to this thing that's not a fact. It's not observable.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how they can check all the boxes and it's still off?
It is. Yeah. I guess I'm learning that maybe the boxes aren't everything.
Ooh, I'm sorry. Write that down in my notes.
Write that down. Mark the tape. I think you're saying something, Samantha. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I was just agreeing with her. Like everything. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
It's hard to
go ahead.
It's hard to find your person and check all those boxes because whenever you're dating, you're like, I date to marry. I date to live the rest of my life with this person. So you have to be super picky, right? Like you're going to be with that person for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And that also just makes dating harder.
Yeah.
I might be in a different place than you because like sometimes I've been married and I, started out thinking I would be with that person for the rest of my life, up until the last couple years of our marriage. I was completely convinced I'd be with him forever. And so part of me has started to accept that maybe it's not always forever. Maybe you can have great relationships that aren't forever. So I've kind of let go of that, of thinking like, is this person right for me for the rest of my life? But is this person good for me right now? Am I good for this person right now? Is this mutually beneficial? And even then I haven't figured it out, but whatever.
Yeah.
No, but I really do like that mentality though, because I do feel like when I was younger, it was kind of the same thing where like I was just, we're going to fix it no matter what. But also too, there are some things that you really can't like, I guess, settle on, and as you get older, you do realize the things that you can and you can't, settle for. And it's difficult, but I do like your perspective because I do feel like it also is kind of empowering for a woman because I feel like as a woman, you kind of do feel like, well, we got to be perfect for him. We have to be good for him. We have to be right for him. Okay, but what about for us? Like, what about, you know what I mean? And I mean, I think that we forget about that sometimes. So I think focusing more on just how you said, like, okay, but are you good for me right now? Like, let's, then cool. If you are, then let's grow together. And maybe this can be a forever thing, just like we all want, of course. But I really, really like that. I'm going to put that in my notes right now. I really I feel.
And Emily, your story is like very comparable to mine. Like my ex-wife and I, high school sweethearts, married at 21, divorced at 39. So it's like I didn't know anything. Like, again, blank slate going out there. So, and you have to just learn by mistakes, trial and error.
It is so hard, Rudy. Oh my God. I hate this. Like, I hate it.
You do?
I'm really not having a good time.
For me, and again, I'm not giving advice, but for me, what made it great for me is that I loved my life. I loved the opportunities and future ahead of me. I love my side hustles, my friends, and the opportunity to make my life I can make it because I've had enough of the bad. So I didn't have a lot of expectations going on the date. If it worked out, great. If it didn't, I wasn't heartbroken.
Right.
Because I went through the worst possible experience anybody can go through with a divorce.
Exactly.
A heartbreak is going to be, I'm sorry, it didn't work out. But again, I just didn't have a lot of expectations with the people out there. And I think that's what helped me.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Because like I've learned like, okay, this is the time to make my life you know, exactly how I want it, you know, the first time in your adult life to really like figure out who you are. And so, you know, what do you want to make for dinner? All of that. So I'm enjoying all of that.
It's fun.
And getting to a point where there is no expectation on, you know, another person, but, you know, maybe one day, hopefully.
One day. It'll happen, I promise.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit. Okay, let's go to these next questions here. So deal breakers. What are some deal breakers for you? We'll start with Kara.
Oh, geez.
You be honest, as honest as you want, please.
Okay. I know. I'm literally
You can curse if you want. Oh, yeah, no, it's okay.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Book to us.
I'm not a type A personality at all. Deal breakers, lack of ambition, lack of independence, independent thought, lack of commitment or indecisiveness.
Okay.
Disloyalty. Deal breakers.
Okay. Samantha, you?
Oh. I feel like this is very controversial.
Say it.
I already know where.
This is a rated R show. You can say whatever you want. Doesn't matter.
And it's not because I respect fathers. I respect dads. I do. I know having kids is hard, especially being a single dad. You know, personally though, I would not want to date a dad. I know this doesn't sound selfish, but I want to be the baby. Like I want to, you know what I mean? Like and truly like a little bit more. Like if we were to grow and we were to have kids, I don't know. I feel like I've also seen a lot of how do I say, like relationships that failed. They have kids, and then the new, like one of the kids is gets neglected, and that really is sad to me. I would hate to have, you know, the son that he's giving all the attention to, but his brother or sister, whatever, isn't, and you know maybe the mom feels away about us, and I don't want to deal with any of that. Like I said, I respect dads. I respect everything. We're co-parenting. I know it's super hard. All the respect, you know, to that. But dads, personally, I wouldn't want to. Obviously, you know, if you're not loyal, I can't do that. I believe that people do make mistakes. I don't believe that cheating is a mistake, personally. I've also seen like a lot of relationships in my families ruined by cheating. So it kind of touches a soft spot for me. I couldn't do it. I just know I could never forgive it, and we would never be in a happy relationship after that. You know, with or with kids, I wouldn't want to put my kids through that either. I wouldn't try to stick around. I know that I would have to leave. Don't lie to me, even on the smallest of things. Like I don't care what you're like, just don't lie. Like I've been through a lot. I can take it. Like let's talk about it. That's what we can do. But there's no need to lie to me. But those are kind of the big things for me. I don't really have any other like deal breakers. So.
If I can, Emily, before you go on, that's one of the things that a lot of women stop talking to me with. Oh, you have 2 kids? Like, I can't date a man with kids. And so I got rejected quite a few times with that. I didn't take it personal because the stigma of someone who's divorced with 2 kids, I know what that can carry. Like baby mama drama. I'm not raising nobody's kids. I'm like, well, they have a wonderful mother. I'm not looking for a mother. Right. Yeah. Or like, there's no drama, but I get where you're coming from. So I got a lot of like pushback on that. But again, I didn't take it personal because that's just your preference. Like if you want a tall guy, I'm 5'9", but if you want 6 foot, okay, so what? It doesn't bother me. That's your preference. So I think a lot of people who hear those preferences will maybe something will get offended or feel rejected when it's just, that's not it. We're into what we're into.
Like I said, full respect to, I know it's hard. It's not easy. And especially too, I'm busy, you know, and you're going to be busy, and
you're hardly going to have time for each other.
Yeah. And that's not, you know, I want, especially too, like I want you to be the best dad you can be. Like if there is any little time that I can have for you, I don't want you to even think about putting your kids to the side just because I'm not available all the time. Like, no, be a dad, be the dad. I know how important it is to be a dad, to have a dad. So that's, you know, that should be their priority. That should be the priority in that. So.
Yeah. Emily?
I really like that. Because like the situation that I described with that man who was like, oh, you're low value because you're a single mom.
Yeah.
Like it was just all very arbitrary. Like it was just blah, 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 blah. I listened to whatever podcast and I'm regurgitating something that I heard that makes me feel better as a man because you're rejecting me. But I think that, you know, for Samantha, it's like there's something, you know, real and factual behind it. You know, yes, like there are those potentials when you date anybody with children. It is an additional dynamic to think through in a relationship. It's not just you and that person. So all the power to you for having that boundary and knowing that about yourself. But I think for me, it comes down to, I mean, honestly, in the beginning, it's just like we have to be able to communicate. I need a man that can communicate efficiently. And
give the guys an example, because guys hear that a lot, but like, can you be specific? Like what type of scenario are you referring to? Like just daily conversation, or what do you mean?
That can go so many ways, effective communication. But let's say, you know, understanding like that it might be helpful to give context if you're saying, hey, I'm not going to be on my phone much today. Okay. So, you know, I just want to let you know, hey, you know, good morning. I'm not going to be on my phone a lot today. Okay. And then I don't hear from him until tomorrow. And it's like, well, you could have said like, I am not going to have access to my phone because I'm whatever, you know, like give context to things when it's warranted, especially in a way that, you know, I don't know if I'm alone in this. I don't want to speak for all women, but Samantha, Kara, do y'all like having reassurance that like it's not just like I'm gone?
Yes. Yes. I feel like the key to a successful relationship is communication. Period.
Right. Say things, like explain things, describe things, give context to situations, and say exactly what you mean and mean what you say.
Yeah. I will also throw in there listening.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's communication. You have to be able to listen well to be able to communicate.
But you have to listen, not just hear. Like actually listen, you know? That's important too.
Right.
That's important too.
Hold on, I'm still thinking about what you said, Emily. Reassurance. That's just something
Women,
that simple.
I
I'm like,
we
wow.
need reassurance.
Yeah, and just
both.
So it speaks volumes, like just the little bits of reassurance
wow.
that you're not, you know. And again, I don't know, like I don't like to attach these trendy terms to everything, like, oh, you know, you have anxious attachment or something, but like I just want to know that I'm not being abandoned, that you haven't just suddenly decided you don't like me anymore, you know, that you're no longer finding me interesting or intriguing or whatever. So those bits of reassurance throughout communication, whenever it's warranted and like makes sense, those are nice.
That makes sense now, because if I matched with anybody on a dating app, right? I'm just kind of going back to the old days, and we had a date on Friday. I would text them Friday morning saying, hey, I'm looking forward to tonight. You know, just as a reminder, I'll be here. If you have anything comes up, let me know. But it was just in my mind, the way my old mind works, it was just common courtesy to let this person know that, hey, I'm not going to ghost you. I know a woman to go on a date, especially if she has kids, takes a lot of effort in planning and scheduling a babysitter, then getting dressed and all that. So I just gave people just, I guess, reassurance that I was going to be there, and that meant a lot to people. And it's funny because, again, for me, I just find just the common decency, little things meant the world to a woman. And I'm like, is it that bad now?
Yeah, they feel safe with you.
Yeah.
Right.
The reassurance.
And I wish more guys would listen to that, and instead of going with the aggressive piece, you know, what do you bring to the table, all that. And again, I'm not making this episode to bash guys. It's to help them and give them a real perspective from real women and just real life and all those items. So I really hope they're taking notes.
I think that should be reassuring to men that for reassurance. Like that is such a big thing for myself and obviously Kara and Samantha. That's 3 out of 3 here that, you know, reassurance is a huge aspect of like feeling engaged in a relationship, and especially early on, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely I mean, definitely continuing on into 11 years of marriage, reassurance would have meant a lot.
I hear you. Here's a simple one. Does height matter? That's a big thing with guys.
I'm 5'1", so for me, it's really kind of hard. Like I'm 5'1".
You're what? 5'1"?
5'1", so everything is good.
Okay.
Everybody's taller than
so
her.
I'm okay. Like it's fine. I don't ever have to stress about it. I don't care.
So if a guy was 5'5" or 5'6", that wouldn't matter.
I mean, if he's a beautiful daddy, then no, what? Okay.
But not like
Hey,
an
papi.
actual dad,
No,
right?
no. Little papi with no niños. One of them.
I've
Daddy.
dated a guy.
Not a dad.
I've dated a guy that was 5'6", and I've dated a guy that was 5'11", and I was more attracted to the guy that was 5'6" than the guy that was 5'11", just based off his personality and how he carried himself.
Wow.
Yeah.
There it is.
Okay. And you said, Emily, you were saying yes, right? Height matters?
Yes, but height matters. Just I do feel like, again, I hate that this is kind of arbitrary, but physically, I want somebody that is bigger than me.
And how tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
Okay.
So most men are also, taller than me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like that. I don't like that it's an arbitrary thing, but it is true that I probably would not date somebody that was my height or shorter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I've heard is like as long as you're taller than them, and if they can wear heels and still be you're taller than them, that's all that matters. But again, it's unfortunate that the stigma that's out there is that women want you've heard the 3 6s, right? Like the
6 foot 6 inches,
6 inches, 6 figures, and six abs. Is that what it is? Yeah.
I actually heard that from a guy. Like a guy told me that, and I was like, "Wait, what?
that's
What is these sixes?"
Oh, I love that.
Oh God. And again, it does that matter? I mean, does the 3 6s matter?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I can 100% say, like, honestly, 6 figures, no. Like, I mean, as long as you are able to support your lifestyle, and I don't have concerns about your ability to do that.
Yeah.
And then your height, 6 foot is, as we know, above average.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is not, there's 20-30% of men that are 6 foot or taller.
Yeah.
So that kind of narrows your choices down a bit if you're there. And then sex. Well, I don't know. I'll say it doesn't matter. We care about the chemistry, but
the chemistry. Okay.
No, absolutely. I agree. I rather personally for 6 figures, I don't care. I would rather struggle with someone if you make me feel like I'm the most important person. Like if our chemistry, if our love, if we're there, and if we gotta maybe work a little harder to be together, okay, that's cool. We're making it happen. We're doing this together. We're living our life. We're growing. We're growing. Rather than to be with someone who maybe does make 6 figures, but maybe doesn't treat me so nice or isn't so, who I want to be, who I want in a partner. I will not. How do I say? I guess I won't give up the. I don't know. I will give up the luxury lifestyle to be with a man who's gonna treat me better than the man who can give me all the money. Like you can't buy love. You just, for me at least, I just don't think that's a thing. Personally, and with the whole the sexual part of that, I think that, personally, been with someone who's bigger, been with someone who's a little bit smaller, but the smaller was better because the chemistry was there, the connection was there. It was a lot stronger with that. So like I felt it more like it was it was more of a connection.
It's more enjoyable.
The other was
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Like you're saying, so that's going for you, I guess.
Yeah.
Are we done? Is it time? Gotta go. Yeah, no. So.
Yeah, I've had a lot of, when I was single as well, I still have a lot of female friends, but again, they're just like colleagues now, but they always said that the guy who was, massive, he was more or less lazy.
Yeah.
And he didn't know how to.
They're like, I've got this, so you just do your thing.
Worship me. That's it. Like, that's it, really?
I just bring the equipment.
Do the job.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're being honest with that, because again, honestly, a lot of guys will hear this, and I'm pretty sure in the comments on YouTube will be, "Oh, they're lying, because that's again, they refuse to believe the truth. They want to hear what they want validation, not knowledge.
Yeah.
And I wish more guys were just open to like, this is reality, man. This is the
Right.
truth, man. Come on, listen.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I feel like, I mean, again, like why I threw out the fact that like 6 foot is over the average American male height
Yeah.
is because like you think all of these women are after these like minor populations of men. Like, no, like we don't want, because if you did the 3 6s, that's like 1%
yeah.
of men.
Thank you. Yeah,
If
I've seen
anything,
that
less than
calculator,
1%.
right, where it just like kind of reduces people as you enter the factors.
Yeah, and then are those people worth a shit as human beings? Who knows? We just have these 3 6s. That's all we know about them.
Yeah.
But I think that that's really, for me, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, like, no. Like, obviously we all have sexual preferences. Like,
Yeah.
you know, would I be like super attracted to the idea of like very, very below average? Probably not. But like, do I need this insane, you know, like high standard for all of these things? No. Like, I think most women are more reasonable than that.
Okay.
I think
Us three
women
are.
are. I think women are way more forgiving than men think. Like, I've had so many friends that have supported their guy through like financial hardship, way more than I've heard women be like, oh, he has to completely support me financially for me to be with him.
Yep.
Like you see this on social media, like, oh, she wants me for my money. She wants me for whatever. I don't think women are really like that. I've never ran into a woman like that. It's probably like 1% of women.
Yeah, I think the women they see on social media are like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
but
think
not the
Rudy,
women in real life.
You nailed it earlier on that they like that men or women are probably getting this like image of, you know, what a woman is now from social media, from this, you know, really narrow view on the internet, and then applying it to everyone. And it's just, yeah, like everything's kind of coming back to that in this conversation where like stereotyping women based on social media.
In social media, it always reflects the extremes. It's very much an extremist platform. So it's not representative of the average woman or average man.
Yeah.
Right.
I
and we know that.
I love the fact that all of you are so just well-rounded and just like nice people, because again, I know there's more of you like this out there, but I just wish more guys would just take the time to talk to somebody.
Maybe it's your followers, Rudy. Maybe.
Well, it's only on YouTube. Well, it's funny because I think this whole conversation, I haven't really been saying anything that's like, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm just saying, talk to people, be respectful, and just be a decent person. That's not groundbreaking. And don't take any stigmas and place them on somebody. Just because your ex did something to you doesn't mean the person in front of you is going to be the same way. And it's just common sense. And I wish more people thought that way. And I feel a lot of guys have given up, and women too. They've given up on the dating scene because they're consistently disappointed. And I guess your algorithm will also kind of tailor to your feelings and emotions. So if you hate men or hate women, you're going to watch more content based on that. And before you know it, you're just like in this silo and you're stuck.
Well, a rabbit hole.
Refer your men to your female followers like us, who are very well-rounded and amazing.
I've been thinking about doing a dating app. Everyone's been saying you got to do a dating app and have every guy Rudy approved. I'm like, I should. Maybe I'll get to that.
Or like a speed date, or like a speed dating thing. You know, like
a blind date
like a blind date podcast.
Ooh, that'd be
what
good
if there was a dating app where it's all only phone calls?
Oh my God,
Like you
I think half the guys would freak out on that.
It's love is blind.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'll think about that. I'll think about that. Yeah, because what was I going to say? The next question, attractiveness. Now we kind of like put the myth of this 3 6s to bed, right? But as far as attractiveness, I want all three of you, your opinion on physical and personality. What makes a man like, damn, he's a good looking man?
I like a man with strong arms.
Confidence.
Ooh, that.
What was that?
Confidence. Like, I feel like women, we really don't care about looks all that much, like men kind of do.
Okay.
But how a man carries himself plays so much into how attractive he is. If he is secure in himself, confident, and can just lead, he is going to be attractive.
I
Like his looks have very little to do with it, in my opinion.
I think when
Okay.
they're
Agree.
goofy, they're funny. Like when they're funny, when they're goofy, when they're silly, like
Oh
it's
yeah,
like, oh my god, like you just make me melt. Like
my eyes are closed. I can't even see you right now, but you're making me smile.
I know, right? Like, oh, my cheeks hurt. Literally. Yeah, I like that a lot. I don't know. I think for like physicalness, though, I do like whenever a man has like a strong back or like strong arms, like his forearm, hand, his hands. I really like hands. I think hands. I think it's just like ooh, like you're a man. Like, you know, I don't know.
Hands.
I don't know.
So like a blue collar guy, maybe, or no?
Yeah. Blue collar. I mean, honestly, like, or even if you know, I mean, God, even 9 to 5 who just works on his car is like, oh, you can. My car is always messing up. You got me? Cool. let's do this. I need an oil change right now, sir. Like right now. So let's do this.
I feel like if I'm
Do things, man that can fix things. Yes.
Oh, God.
Here.
or if they're just
5'7", let's
healthy,
go. Yes.
If they're healthy,
if they're just healthy, like they just take care of themselves, that's half of it.
Yep. That means so much. Oh, obviously you need a man who takes care of his nails. That's important. Like when I'm looking at hands, I'm also looking at nails. I don't see no nasty brown like that, sir. What are you doing? Like it's $2.
Yes.
A nail clipper with a file is $2 at Walmart. Like I promise you. I got you. Yeah, that's the one. That's honestly just. I want good hygiene. Good hygiene. Floss. Please floss.
And his breath doesn't stink, right?
Use a tongue scraper. You need a water pick, baby. I use it. You can use it. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge one for me. I haven't had the experience of having like a negative interaction with that, but I'm big on that. Like as far as just with coworkers, stuff like that. I cannot do that. Bad breath is a no for me. So I feel like if you have, like, we just made it so easy. If you just have,
I know,
the bare minimum.
Yeah, guys, it's there. I promise you, we're here. We're here.
We're more about personality than anything.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Personality goes a long way. And I think a lot of people forget about that. Like I listen to all these shows because I have friends in the red pill space. We talk about coaching and dating tips and things like that. And you hear it's all about money, power, frame, and all these things. I'm like, okay, what about charisma, sense of humor, charm, wittiness? I mean, all those things matter as well. I mean, you have to be a good person to be around. You just can't be all hard the entire time.
I'm so tired of that because I feel like, this guy that blew me off as low value or whatever because I rejected him.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what he's listening to is that women are valuable based on, their, of course, not necessarily virginity anymore, but like, do they have children?
Yeah.
That's a no. And not for Samantha's reasons, but just because they have children, they're
used up or something like that. Yeah. Something exactly. Idiotic. Yeah.
Yeah. Or, how, I have stretch marks, that's not attractive.
Are you serious? They called out your stretch. Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So women are seen for their value based on their physical appearance. Men, think that they're seen for their money and their power. And I hope that those things aren't really true because I know that I really don't get that from women or myself that all we're after is money and power in men.
Yeah.
Like if anything, the men that I meet that have the most money and power are not my type.
It seems like we're objectifying each other. Like, oh, you're less valuable because you have children. Like, that is the highest form of objectification. Or you're valuable because you have money.
Right.
Right.
Thank you.
It's everything besides what you actually are and who you actually are.
As a human being.
Yeah. It's amazing how superficial it's gotten sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, it's insane. But again, I'm kind of just thinking about everything each one of you said, and it's like nothing out of the ordinary. It's nothing like mind blowing. It's just like just common things. And
Right.
I think a lot of people just forgot fundamentally it's not a lot. But again, I'm a big advocate and champion for personality. You have to have a charming personality. And just like another quick story. Back in the old days, in the 90s, I had a friend. We called him, his name was Johnny, but we call him Baby J. The guy was 5'4", littlest guy. But every weekend, he would leave the club with the hottest woman because he was charming, he was funny, he was the center of attention. People just gravitated to him because he was just fun to be around. He was the best dancer. He can do cumbias, he can dance, any type of style. And people love that. And that just proved to me we're all over here hating. Like, man, what about us? We're taller, we're better looking, whatever. But it just proved to me at a very young age that charisma and charm and personality go way further than people.
Magnetism.
Yes, exactly.
Funny story. My biological father is 5'4", and my mom is 5'9". She's this, beautiful, traditionally beautiful redhead, blue eyes. My mom was very attractive and tall, for a female. And I, in my younger years would kind of tease her, like, how did you end up with, like, I could have been tall, and I would have liked that. But and I'm like, how did y'all I want to know, like, how did y'all have sex, actually?
You asked your mom that? Damn.
He stood on the dictionary.
Really small person, physically. And I'm like, how did that happen? And she literally said he was so charismatic. That was her response. He was so charismatic, Emily.
I believe it.
Okay.
Okay, well.
Wow. So yeah, I guess it's the answer is there. What makes a man attractive is his personality, charm. And Kara, you said confidence. Now, can you tell the audience what the difference is between being cocky and being confident?
That's a fine line.
It is.
Confidence. I feel like confidence is more quiet and it has evidence behind it why you're confident. Like you can back it up. While being cocky, that can crumble in the matter of seconds if someone touches your ego.
Ooh, good point.
I guess that's what it is. Confidence is quiet.
Not too loud.
Yes.
That is good. There's like Kara, a lot of good memes I'm going to make out of the show here. Confidence is good.
How are you only 23 though? Like,
what's that?
I'm asking, how is Kara only 23? Like, wild to me.
She's an old soul. We already know that already.
A lot of life lessons.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was just dead on for confidence versus cocky for me. And I'm 10 years your senior.
Yeah, that's a brilliant explanation, by the way. I'm going to clip that. That's going to be on TikTok in a couple hours. Just kidding.
Okay. Hopefully my hair looks good.
Yeah. Again, this is going to be on TikTok. This is going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube and IG. So I'm going to tag y'all. Now, Kara, you mentioned all these attributes. Y'all mentioned attributes, charm, etc. Do you find that more in older men, or do you still see that quality in younger men? Like you're 23, Kara. So do you find that quality in younger guys, or do you find it in older?
Oh gosh. Definitely. Okay. Older guys. Definitely older guys. I've always dated men my age, or boys, men. They're men, right? They're in their early 20s.
Young men, yeah.
And I've recently dated someone who's older, and it is a world of a difference.
Yeah.
How old is he?
Oh God, he's in his 30s.
I love that for you.
That's not old.
Okay. Older. Okay, I'm used
to
dating 21, 22, 23. So it's a big jump for me. but it's a world of a difference, and it's great.
Okay. Samantha, Emily,
I love
do you prefer older?
preferably older. I've never had a man my age get in my car and be like, "Oh, this little malfunction button. Like, let's go get some air in your tire. Let's go do this. Let's go." Like, "Oh, how's this looking for you? Like, how's like older men, they take the time out." And I'm not. Let me before this goes crazy. It's like I'm not looking to be taken care of. That's not at all it. But it was really sweet, him to see that and be like, "Oh, actually, like." Let's fix this. Let's go ahead and, like, let's take care of this. I mean, the fact that it even means something that he's genuinely cares about my well-being and, my car getting me from A to B. That meant a lot, and a younger man, I never dealt with that. And that's not saying anything about younger men. I feel like men, obviously they get older, they grow, they learn, they see little things like that, and then they can, use it, in the future for themselves. But I prefer older men. I think that they just kind of are a little bit more, they just know a little bit more what they want. And that's not saying that some young guys don't, because I have met 24, 25-year-old men who know exactly what they want. They have, basically they have their little plan. And I love that for them. But personally, I just prefer an older gentleman, a little extra season.
And you're 28,
I'm 28.
Right? So when you say when you say older, what's the age? Like 35, 30?
So, I'm talking to a 36-year-old right now. We met a few weeks ago, and that's kind of the oldest. When I was like 23, I was talking to a guy that was, I think he was 31 or 32, and that was like, oh my God, like, this is crazy. But then I went back to my age, but then this is like I said, we recently started talking, and he's 36, but I love it. Like, I think that, I appreciate the effort he puts in. I think he's really genuine. He little things that he does, just really puts him above and beyond. So.
Okay.
It goes into that element of feeling safe.
Yes.
I think what Samantha was saying was making, so I've dated men that are up to 20 years older than me. And I find that across the board, not a generalization, across the board in my experience, men that are older, 40 plus, they tend to just be more considerate. So like Samantha's saying, they notice things, they address things, more consideration. That's what it is. More, they're expressive about thinking about you. I'm not saying that younger men don't, but maybe they're just not as expressive about it. Or they don't, whatever it is, they don't want to overstep. They don't want to come across as like, telling you what to do or whatever. But I find that, that in my experience, older men are more considerate and thoughtful.
Okay. Also, pause, because that also brought me to a really good point. I feel like younger men now, they don't want to do the nice things because they're going to be a simp, or they're going to be too, this and blah, blah, blah. That's not at all the case. Like, baby, what? I love a simp. Be a simp. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not even so much a simp. I don't even know what the hell a simp is. Just be nice. Be nice. Consider it.
I feel like what a simp is, like, there's always that saying of, oh, nice guys finish last. Okay, in that context, I feel like a simp or a nice guy is a guy who lacks self-respect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I agree.
Like, they don't have a backbone.
Right.
And that's where...
Pushover. Yeah.
And we don't want to simp. I can say that. We don't want to simp in the sense that a man doesn't, have values that he stands for. We just want a man that's values are aligned with ours.
Yeah.
And that doesn't seem like too much.
You just summed up this whole. You just summed up all of this in that exact.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we did.
Yeah. So we can end there. No, I'm kidding.
And cut.
Yeah, definitely. And that blows my mind because the videos and posts that I make about being a gentleman, just being chivalrous, that's considered being a simp. And like, really, just having respect for somebody and just treating somebody like a human being and just being courteous, that is a simp. And again, that's unfortunate that's now the stigma. That explains why they're lonely and they're not getting any dates and things aren't working out for them. And until they realize that, that's on them.
I hate that because it's really more about, it goes back to being authentic. Like, it's more about being inauthentic in a spineless way.
I agree.
You're a people pleaser in a way that is really self-serving. Basically, like you ultimately just want validation and people to like you, so you don't have your own thoughts and feelings. And no, we don't want that. I'm sure none of us want that.
Yeah.
We want you to have your own thoughts and have things that you stand for and values.
A mind of your own, right? I mean, not a pushover. Yeah. Not agreeing with you all the time. I mean, just have your own opinions. That's all.
Yeah. I don't want that at all. Like, I just would like a man that's generally in line with the same values. But but as far as being respectful and considerate, that is totally not even the same.
Yeah.
Not in the same realm at all.
And going back to the age piece, that's one thing, again, that shocked me when I started dating at 39, just like, 8 years ago, is that younger women were attracted to older guys, and they were approaching me, and I was getting hits on dating apps. I was like, whoa. The youngest I dated was 24. The average was 28, early 30s. My wife, she's 10 years younger than me. I met her in 2020 before COVID, and now we're married. So anyway, happy story. But yeah, I was really shocked with that. Am I too old for you? Like, no. And they just preferred the maturity. They preferred the peace. They love that I had a house. Like, oh, you got a headboard. Like, yeah, is that a big deal? Like most of the mattresses are on the floor. Yeah, you got towels. Like, curtains? Is that a big deal? Really?
More than one
It's like, wow.
You have a bed frame?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's not just on the floor?
No. Or on milk cartons.
What?
Yeah. That blew their mind. And I'm like, wow, is it the bar that low nowadays? A bed frame impressed you? Like, wow.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. That is something else. It's not about making six figures, but those kinds of things, yeah, they do mean something to me, at least. Like, I work hard, and I have done that on my own, and I have a bed frame and a headboard. And so it means something to me that a man also, and that just goes to like show that people are making equal effort to you.
Yeah.
Look at your headboard, Kara. Look at you.
Look at you.
See, 23 years old with a headboard.
Deserve a guy
And
with
it's
a headboard.
off the ground.
Yes.
Bravo.
I'm a marriage prospect right now.
Whole bed frame?
And my bed's made.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
It's the little things that matter. It's a little thing. And again, truth be told, from a young man's standpoint, I mean, I didn't start making good money. I'm a 47, right? So I didn't start making good money, in my opinion, until I was like maybe 38, 35. That's when things started really coming in. And now I'm comfortable. I'm doing really well. But so to put that kind of pressure on a young man at 23, he was still going to college, maybe working part-time jobs. I get the frustration from their standpoint. Now I'm speaking for the good ones, not the jerks, right? That, I know what you want. I know you want that. But again, I'm only working, Little Caesars or something like that. I'm still going to school. So I don't have that yet. So I can get the frustration for young men out there who haven't established themselves. And I know it takes time to find your identity and your passion and what you want to do. So, I can get that frustration because, again, for me, I didn't find out the man that I was and who I was until maybe 34.
Yeah.
I was comfortable in my own skin at that age. And I know it varies per person. So I can feel some of the frustration with that maturity piece there. Yeah.
Kara is an old soul, though.
Oh, yeah.
So.
What's that?
Oh, yeah.
I said, Kara's an old soul.
Oh, yeah.
You need, she needs a headboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need your own podcast, Old Soul with Kara.
Yes.
Oh, like that.
Let's see here. So final thoughts, anything you want to add that or maybe touch on any topic that I haven't addressed that you want to speak up to, maybe you have notes on. Go.
I think that for all the men listening out there, they do need to be reminded that it is okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to, have just a normal conversation. Like we're approachable. Like you can approach us. We can talk about anything. If you wanted to ask me, if you came into my DMs and your first question was like, do you believe in aliens? Like, that's kind of cool. Like, let's talk about it. Like, let's go, know? I'm okay with that. Like, that's cool. Don't be afraid to do that though. Don't be afraid of rejection. Everybody gets rejected. Everybody, even the pretty girl that you're scared to message she has been rejected. Like, there's no doubt. But also too, don't take it so, like, so serious. I guess in the way that you said, Emily, where like you really made me think twice when you were like, okay, are you good for me right now? Like, really focus on yourself. Don't take it like, oh, like I'm going on a date and this is gonna be it, and I'm looking for marriage right now. Like, no, like let's just kind of go into it, just having fun, just a genuine connection. Let's be friends first. Friendship is the foundation that will be amazing for us. But don't be scared, guys. Like, you can. We're
Yes.
here. We're not here to make fun of you. We're not here to like be ugly. Like, we want to find you too, basically.
Yes.
So
I love
That was
that.
perfect. Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah. Thank you, Samantha. You did. That was a good point.
Yeah, that was better than my finale, so I'm just going to leave it at
no,
that.
you got.
I don't have one. Just kidding. Yeah, I agree 100%. And you know what? I'm so glad. I mean, this is the first episode, and I'm going to do more, and I'd love to have you on again.
Yes.
But I love that I picked you guys as volunteered, and I selected y'all I got like 100 responses. But I'm so glad that I got you three because, again, I think guys need to see this. They need to see that there are good people out there, good women out there that are not the stigma of what they see on social media. Not all women are gold diggers and all these horrible things. So I'm glad you guys are bringing a wonderful reality that is missing on social media. And again, they'll take it for what it's worth. But again, this was a wonderful conversation, and I hope they listen. I really do. And I really thank every one of you, Samantha, Kara, Emily, for your perspective and insight. This is awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I love hearing from Kara and Samantha.
That's fun. Let's all be friends, y'all. We need to add each other.
Yeah. Keep the chat open. Yeah, just keep the chat open. But again, ladies, thank you so much for your time. Again, I appreciate this, and I hope to see y'all in another episode, probably in a couple weeks or so.
Can we take a selfie real quick? Can I take a selfie of all of us?
Sure.
Ready? Everybody, 1, 2, 3. Cute. Oh, we're so cute. I hate us. Okay.